So, this video is going to be a bit different to what I've made in the past. Um, I feel like this is something that needs to be discussed. This is unscripted. Even yesterday morning, I didn't realize I was gonna make this video. So mental health and art aren't exactly easy to. I mean, mental health isn't easy to navigate at any point, but it's particularly difficult as an artist, specifically being a comical manga artist, because the amount of work you need to put in is intense, and I think no one you don't realize it. Um, like to create several pages, it's not even that it's necessarily just time consuming; it's mentally consuming. And I want to talk about this sort of stuff today. I chose this formatting because I thought it's sort of a more personal thing, and I just want to discuss, I guess, some of my own experiences lately. Because I kind of last night had a bit of an existential crisis. And I went to YouTube trying to find videos maybe to help me out, and I don't know if I was searching it up wrong or if just no one's really talked about this. So there's all these videos, I guess, about how to make manga, but not whether you should. Like, my first video was that anyone can, and if you want to, go for it. But I guess, like, there's the talking about, like, things, like, I've recently watched sorry. You can, if you, my thoughts are jumbled. That's going to be reflected in this video. I'm sorry, but you're going to get a bit of insight how my brain works and how I think. I recently watched at the time of recording this, which is the day it's releasing, the most recent Artcast podcast video, which if you haven't heard of, I recommend. It's really good. They recently were talking about mental health and how making manga isn't for everyone. And I'm in the process of making my manga. I've completed 2 out of 10 pages for the first chapter. And I was considering things like, well, is this what I'm meant to be? Am I one of these people that manga is made for? How do you even know something like that? Because I was considering, I mean, well, if I've been procrastinating, I was doubting that maybe this isn't for me. So I want to, I guess, talk a bit about, like, what procrastination is, and I guess, like, for me personally and stuff. So procrastination's, I mean, everyone does it. Everyone's pretty much aware of it. And I guess we associate procrastination with things like laziness. But research and, like, from my understanding, that's not the root cause of what causes procrastination. It's usually things like anxiety and fear. And I guess, being a bit honest, I have anxiety. I've been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and I'm in the process of getting an ASD diagnosis, which, if you don't know, is autism spectrum disorder. I have been flagged for other conditions, but my psychologist at the moment, who I've only recently been working with within the last year, which is fairly short term for a psychologist, she's not sure exactly what to diagnose me with, just because I've got symptoms of various conditions, so it's difficult to pinpoint because there's a lot of overlap and stuff. But that just gives a bit an idea that I guess I'm neurospicy, which I guess if you haven't heard that term, neurospicy is a term used in the neurodivergent community, which includes things like autism, ADHD. Pretty much, if you have, like, a diagnosis that impacts your daily life and stuff, then you're neurospicy. I forgot where I was going with this. But I guess that just gives an idea that, like, I'm kind of a stressed person. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Procrastination is something that I do a lot just because I care deeply about what I'm doing. And it's just sometimes difficult to do things. That's why I guess I've had a video that I've been working on for ages because I really want to get it right. And it's not necessarily that it's really difficult, it's just, like, mentally taxing, and I want to make sure that it's right. And I know that, like, perfectionism isn't good, but it's not easy to, I guess, just fix. Sorry, that's sitting in an awkward spot and making me itchy. But yeah, onto the thing with manga and stuff. I was considering that maybe it's truly not for me, which was such a scary thought that I nearly had a panic attack over it, which, part of the reason why I mentioned all my conditions and stuff is I'm not expecting that everyone who is in the same sort of position as me would have that response. I've had many panic attacks and stuff like that. I'm more predisposed to having them, if that makes sense, than I guess other people may be. But I guess I want to talk about that if you have a response where the idea and thought of not making manga is so distressing to you that, I mean, maybe makes you cry, makes you like have a panic attack, or just like if that's not how you usually respond. If it's just distressing, like the thought of never making manga or just like giving up is genuinely discomforting, like it, then I feel like you are the kind of person it's for. It's a passion of like it's a field of love and passion, and I feel like if you're passionate about it to the point where, like, I guess like for me, I feel like if I was to die tomorrow, my biggest regret would be not having a manga out. Like, it's what I want to do. It's where I want my life. Like, that's what I want the most out of life. Everything else is sort of a garnish, I guess, in the sense that I could take it or leave it. Like it'd be cool, some of these other things that I might want, but I don't think I'd necessarily be too upset in a hypothetical situation where I was like, oh dang, I didn't get to do that. Whereas I feel like if I was to die, which I know is pretty morbid and a heavy topic to think about, but the thought of not ever making it, or just like not making it, is terrifying to me. Which I feel like if you're in that position, then that's definitely a sign that it's not that you don't have the drive, or like that it's for you, I would say. I mean, it's probably for people with a less extreme reaction, but I guess it's just difficult to know whether or not you should do something like this, because I mean, you like it's hard, and when you hear people saying things like, oh, it's not for everyone, and that's true, but it's difficult to know, well, who is it objectively for? And you, like, seeing things like procrastination, you might think of that as a sign of, oh, well, maybe this isn't what I really want, which, I mean, a lot of people that have, I guess, dreams and stuff, but never do anything about it, usually that's a sign that it's, I guess, just a fantasy rather than necessarily something you're committed to. I mean, I was procrastinating on an actual page, and that was also because manga makes you draw things that you just is difficult. Like, I would definitely say compared to other things, it pushes your art a lot more than you realize, because you're forced to draw perspective, different poses, because you're communicating your ideas and stuff. I definitely feel like it's a good way to learn art and things, in the sense that you have to draw stuff you're not already good at. Whereas I guess if you're doing nice fan arts and illustrations on Instagram, for example, you can do it over several times and just pick a pose that you're already proficient in. I mean, you can adjust things on your page to make it so that it still looks good and stuff, but I definitely find that it pushes you in different ways. And I feel like, I guess, like with procrastination, sorry, I don't have, I guess, a grand commitment or like epiphany to state, because this is still something that I guess like I'm struggling with. I guess want to give my thoughts and I guess open up a discourse and discussion about it, because like you have manga artists telling you that like it's not for everyone, but it's difficult to know what questions to ask yourself to reflect if it is for you. So I would say, I guess, some of the things that have made me realize that I think this is definitely what I want is I've also tried to quit in the past. When I was in year 9, so this would have been 2019, I first watched My Hero Academia, first read the couple of volumes of the manga and decided I wanted to be a manga artist. And I told my mom, and she pretty much said, maybe don't do that. Because, it wasn't that she wasn't supportive, it was more that she felt that I guess I wouldn't necessarily be happy because of just how stressful it is. Like, especially because at the time, we didn't have things like Manga Plus creators, and I wanted to make manga more so than, like, webcomics. So I was like, well, I'm gonna have to move to Japan, which I don't speak Japanese. I'm from Australia. I'm not, like, there were several things that I guess put those barriers and stuff, and just I already had pretty decent idea of how brutal the industry is, especially in Japan, where you work for ages just to get in the door, and then you could be cancelled, your dreams like destroyed within like, you only get 10 weeks of grace. Many series die within the first year, and you spend years just getting into a magazine only to be cancelled within a year. And then you've got to, I guess, keep trying or leave, and they usually don't like it if you try. Like, they don't usually give you too many chances. They treat like entries beyond your first one worse than they would like if it was your first entry. They prefer you to have not failed several times in their magazine. At least this is for Shonen Jump. I'm not sure how it varies between things, but that was where I wanted to be because that's the big one. That's what I was reading, and I guess the only one I was really familiar with at the time. So I guess with that, I decided, okay, maybe I can just do it as a hobby, or I guess that made me go, okay, this is not, I guess, the likely career path that would be good. So I tried to, I guess, talk myself out of my dream, because it would be difficult. It wouldn't be easy. And I guess the fact that I'm still here now, working towards it, despite knowing that in terms of security and money, art isn't where it's at. And it's scary putting yourself out there in something like manga, because like any creative field is very volatile. Even the artists that are good, like, I know the webtoon is notorious for stuffing their artists and creators over. And like, it's not easy to make a living off these kind of things. And whilst you don't necessarily have to do it for a career, just the amount of sheer time it takes to get stuff out on a regular basis, which, I mean, you kind of have to, otherwise your audience is gonna not really, like, it. You kind of have to release somewhat regularly for it to maintain interest and maintain an audience. It's very difficult, I guess, to manage it with other stuff because it just takes so much time and effort. Like, you don't realize how much time it genuinely takes to make these kind of things. And especially because you've got to condense that down, and like, even if you're releasing monthly, several pages, full pages that you have to script, you have to storyboard. It's not easy by any means. I mean, anyone can do it, and if you have the passion, I encourage you to do it, but it's not, I guess, like, I don't want this to sound like I still, I guess, believe in everything I said in my first video, which I'm guessing most of you have seen, as that's definitely my most popular video. But I'm just being honest that it's not easy, but I feel like the fact that I'm still here wanting to do it, knowing all of this, I know that there's no guarantee anyone will ever read it, even if I was to release it. Even if it was on a platform that's relatively popular, there's a chance not a soul will read it, and there's a chance that it'll be hated. I'll be hated for it. and that, but I mean, it's what I want to do regardless. I'm about to cry, sorry. I want to make my stories. I want to make manga. That's what I want to be doing. I want to, like, I'm here on YouTube and I've wanted to do this for a while. I want to also help other people because I want to be able to discuss things that I'm interested in, just build up discussions about literature and stuff. Like, this is what I want to do. And I guess if it's something that you know just deep down that, like, you don't know what else to do but that, like, that's what you feel that, I don't like the idea of, like, feel like you're born to do. That's, I don't necessarily believe in, like, I guess, fate and a deterministic, like, predetermined course for life, but I'm just, I don't even know if this video will help anybody, but I just need to discuss things because, yeah, the thought of not doing this terrifies me. And I feel like if the thought of not doing it scares me, then perhaps I should do it. And I guess I feel like if anyone else is, I guess, having this struggle of knowing, is this truly for me? Which I don't know if this is something that people have, or if it's maybe something that you will at some point. Because I mean, I guess I instinctively know it. It's just that it's sometimes scary to accept things that, like, to accept the truth about yourself in a sense, to truly say that this is who I am, this is what I want to do, is not always an easy thing to come to terms with, especially when it's something that just our society isn't really pushing you towards. I mean, we've got, like, capitalism and hustle culture where, you know, you're being constantly reminded that, hey, if you're not productive every second of your day, constantly making money, then you're worthless, which is wrong. Like, and I for me personally, because I was trying to, I was, part of what delayed this so long is I thought I was going to go to, my plan until, I guess, like, the end of last year for most of my schooling was I was gonna get good grades, go to uni, get a good paying job. I was gonna study economics and law, things that I still enjoyed, but, like, I didn't even study art at high school because, well, that's not what was gonna get me good grades. It's not what was gonna get me money. And yet, art is what I'm most passionate about. Telling stories is what I'm passionate about. And but sometimes, I guess, just difficult to come to terms with. And I know this video has pretty much just been rambling, and I'm surprised if anyone's still watching, because even I've lost the point of what I'm trying to say just because this is unscripted and me just, I guess, blurting out my thoughts. I don't know if this will be helpful, but I just feel like I need to, for myself, just put this out there and hope that it helps someone. I feel like, just don't, I guess the only thing I can come up with is just don't give up. Like, I was legitimately considering that, well, maybe this isn't, maybe I should just give up. And then that caused me to nearly freak out. Which, like, the thought of not doing it was way scarier than any of the issues and, like, difficulties of doing the thing. Which, I guess, I'm sorry, I don't have some big answer. If someone does, please make a video, write it in the comments, please. Just, if someone has answers to what I'm saying, I really need to hear them. I think other people do too. And I feel like this kind of video probably hasn't been made because, like, I mean, I've nearly been in tears this entire time. I don't know how I'm not crying, to be honest. It's not easy to talk about, it's not easy to think about, let alone come up with answers or logic behind it. So I guess now that I've been here for 20 minutes, I'm gonna stop here. And I'm gonna leave it up to those that are still watching. I guess, please share your thoughts with me. Because I need answers. Or just even if you've got struggles yourself, I do want my channel to be somewhere where people feel open to discuss things. Like, I mean, if you're being a jerk, then like that's different. But I'm open to people disagreeing with me. Like, I don't mind disagreement. In terms of like people refuting my points and ideas. I haven't necessarily had anyone be particularly hateful, actually, which has been good. But like, I mean, if someone's being mean, then that's different to being civil and having a discussion. So yeah, I guess thanks for watching. Sounds a bit hard to say, but I guess like just stay creative and just don't let things like fear or just stop you from doing what you love. It's difficult, it's hard, but I genuinely believe it's worth it. It's definitely more fulfilling than, just not doing what you love and just doing what's more conventional because you think that's what you have to be doing.